Right, so welcome back, guys, and welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision here with Bryan Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today we're going over some huge news we got over the past few days regarding the upcoming live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. Now, if Avatar: The Last Airbender is something you're interested in, or TV videos is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. That will miss more Avatar news from me or TV news from me moving forward. Now let's begin. Well, as if the world of entertainment couldn't get any worse in 2020, we just received news for any Avatar fans that the live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender that is set to premiere on Netflix sometime in the future is now facing some interesting and huge changes. So late last week, it was announced that the original showrunners, Mike and Bryan, who are behind the great and amazing cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is now available on Netflix along with the sequel show, The Legend of Korra. Definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't. I highly recommend it. They're some of the greatest TV shows of this century so far. Highly recommend them. But apparently, Mike and Bryan, the people behind the show who brought it to life back in what was it, 2005, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they have officially stepped away from the project and are no longer working with the people on Netflix to develop the show, which is shocking. Now, I was so excited to see this live action version after the horrendous, despicable display that was done 10 years ago by M. Night Shyamalan. I was super hyped. I always like to see these cartoons brought to live action. I think they're amazing. I thought this was going to be great. Mike and Bryan were behind it, unlike the M. Night Shyamalan movie. I figured, here we go. We're going to get some great Avatar content. Even though it's the same story, just in live action, I still think it would have been great. And I still think they could have even added more into this if Mike and Bryan were behind this. But they have stepped down due to creative differences. Now, we know that they were brought on to help the show or help write the show. However, when they signed on, they were originally apparently given creative freedom to do whatever they wanted. However, I guess Netflix didn't follow through with that and wanted to have their hands in making this show as well. Now, from what I understand, I feel like this was an issue where there was too many cooks in the kitchen, and they just didn't regard what Michael and Bryan wanted, which is so sad. I feel like this is a great, huge franchise that could do great on Netflix with Mike and Bryan behind it, but I feel like Netflix is now becoming this huge platform that they want to have some kind of franchise attached to them, and they want something like Star Wars or Marvel or something like that. But they're looking at Avatar as this huge franchise that it has, and not caring and just wanting the money out of it, which I think is horrible. And again, I was super psyched for it. I know people weren't excited for it. They just want to have the cartoon. I love the cartoon, but personally, I would have liked to seen it in live action. Just, I thought it'd be cool, especially after what I said was the horrendous display of it in live action 10 years ago by M. Night Shyamalan, who, my God, he butchered the show. If any of you watch Fear the Walking Dead, in comparison, season 4 and 5 of Fear the Walking Dead could be Emmy Award winning shows and hailed as like some of the greatest TV show on history compared to the Last Airbender movie by M. Night Shyamalan. Like, literally, it is horrible. Like, if you want to check it out, I recommend getting drunk beforehand. That way you don't even probably have any memory of the movie. Just go watch the live action on Netflix. It'll save you a lot of time, energy, and just the pain of having to sit for that movie. But I am nervous now. I am still going to check this out. But from one of the letters from the writers, it pretty much says that they said that we hope that you enjoy it, and we hope that you can find enjoyment with it, and that it's something that you enjoy and look up to. Now, when someone says that, like that they hope that you like it, I feel like that's a red flag saying it's gonna be bad. Like when someone says, "Yeah, this looks good," or "Yeah, you'll," I don't know. This just gives me a worriness that it's not going to be good. Like when they have to go out of their line and say, "Well, we hope you like it," it just does not give me hope. And I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of my favorite shows of all time, if not top five or top three favorite of all time. I love the show. Again, recommend checking it out if you haven't. I don't care if you're in your teenage years or adult. I don't care what age you are. You will find enjoyment and love the show. I almost guarantee it. The Legend of Korra, in my opinion, isn't as great as the main show, but it's still decent and good. But I prefer the main show over that. And I think that, in a way, this is good news and bad news at the same time. I mean, the writers Michael and Bryan have been doing other things. We've gotten comics over the past few years, which apparently are very hard to find. I even haven't been able to find them or read them. Um, but they've also got the new Rise of Kyoshi book following the life of Avatar Kyoshi, which is cool. I haven't gotten to read that book, but definitely am planning to sometime in the future. But Avatar is a great franchise with great characters, great story. It's one of those great stories where from beginning to end, everything is done correctly, paid off well, and everyone's story comes to a satisfying end. And I have worries with this Netflix show now that Michael and Bryan aren't connected that it will not be as good as the show. I feel like back when Michael and Bryan were attached to it, I had faith that it would be a good adaptation. And look, I think we can all agree when you have something as like a cartoon and you're bringing it to live action, there are certain things that you can't do with the show. And I think that might have been one of the issues, but I do believe Michael and Bryan probably would have expected that, which I think, I feel like depending on what they could or couldn't do would have made or break the show as well. But I think with Mike and Bryan at the helm, they could have still made it a good and decent show, just having to go around those things in regards to what they could or couldn't do on live action. Now, the one thing I'm praying for is that they get good casting and don't whitewash the cast like they did with the 2010 movie. Like that was utterly atrocious. It was racist. It was just horrible. And then I just pray that the effects are as good. I mean, the effects from 10 years ago, yes, they do not hold up, and yes, effects have changed in the past decade. Let's pray that they hold up good compared to the 2010 movie. Like the bending is horrible in the movie. You can barely see Zuko's scar. Just everything about it is just horrible. That movie. I just think it's atrocious. And again, watch it with like get drunk. Don't go into it sober. It's horrible. You don't want to remember it. But I still am at this point. I am nervously optimistic. I was optimistic with Michael and Bryan at the helm, but now I'm more just nervous and scared. In one hand, I do not believe, and I pray I'm wrong. I pray that this is not true. That I do not believe it could be anywhere near as worse as the M. Night Shyamalan movie. If it's worse than that, then wow, that is amazing. Like, how did that even happen? Like, there's no way it could be any worse than that. Like, again, if I'm proven wrong, wow. But this is just something where it's sad. It's just horrible. I just can't understand what's gonna happen now. And look, Michael and Bryan, if what you're saying is true and they treated you badly there, good. I'm glad you left. And I just hope that this doesn't end up tainting or marring the history and greatness of the cartoon. Because I feel like if this is true, that if this turns out bad, it could mar the franchise. And I don't want to see that happen. I mean, The Last Airbender pretty much very much distanced itself from the main show. Michael and Bryan pretty much said, yeah, we don't recognize this, we don't want to have any involvement. And that's pretty much the same thing they're saying with this live action show, which worries me more. The fact that when you have someone who is behind the project or behind the creation of the project, and they say, we hope it lives up to your expectations and stuff like that, and they walk away from the project, it's worrisome. It really is worrisome. that they're gonna mar it, and I just hope it doesn't do that, because this franchise is amazing. And honestly, with Michael and Bryan gone, I hope that they at least have the rights to the cartoon, because what I'd love to see is spin-off cartoons. I would love to see maybe a mini series based on maybe the life of Kiyoshi, bring the rise of Kiyoshi book to life in a cartoon. That would be amazing. I think that'd be an amazing thing to do. Maybe do like a mini series focusing on some of the missing points from Avatar Roku's life that we didn't get to see in the Avatar and the Firelord episode. Fill in some gaps there. Maybe do a series based on, you could bring in so many different things. There's so many avatars over the years that they have on the show that they could make mini series or just a season out of that. Do a life on a mini series on Avatar Korra or Avatar Yen Chen, or even just do a new Avatar series following the Avatar after Korra. I mean, this is a franchise and series that could live on forever with different stories, and they're proving that with the comics and the books. This is a franchise that is big, it's huge, and I think, again, that's one of the reasons Netflix is wanting it. They want their own franchise. But I just pray that they don't mar it. And I hope that they don't have rights to the cartoon right now, because that would be even worse. I really hope that. I pray that Michael and Bryan still have the rights to it. Because if they don't, that's even more sad and horrible. I think that Netflix right now only has the rights to make the cartoon live action movie though right now, or TV show. So that kind of gives me happiness. I know that when Butch Hartman left Nickelodeon, he lost the rights to things like Danny Phantom, which sucks because I wish he still had the rights to those so we could get more content from that. But I really hope that, unlike with Butch Hartman, they still had the rights to Avatar, because that way they can still do things with it and not be connected to this live action movie if it goes bad. I mean, live action, again, yes, there are limitations to it. But again, things have come a long way since the last Airbender movie. CGI has greatly improved, and I just pray to God that they get it right, because it can't be worse than the last Airbender, but it could still be bad. And I just pray that the bending at least looks good. I hope that the design of the show looks good. That was another horrible thing, like all the coloring and everything in the live action was terrible. And I just fear that they're not just going to respect the fan base or the content that they're bringing to life. I'm just worried. And at this point, I don't know. I'm still, again, interested, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Overall, though, this is my just thoughts and opinions on the news. I want to know from you guys what your thoughts and opinions are on the news. And also, I want to know, would you be interested in seeing any kind of Avatar content on my channel? I've been thinking about doing it, but I'm not sure if it'd be something popular or something you'd be interested in. So if you are a fan or just happen to stumble upon this, let me know. I would love to do it if you're interested in it. And if you haven't checked out Avatar The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra, definitely highly recommend checking that out. I do not think you'll be disappointed. I think it'll be probably one of your favorite shows, just like it's one of mine. And again, if you want the content, I'll bring it to you. If you are new to my channel and you want to see it, I'll do it for you. If you're a fan of the channel and you want to see it, definitely let me know and I'll bring it to you, because I'd love to do Avatar The Last Airbender content, because it's, again, one of my all-time favorite shows. But let me know all that stuff in the comment section down below. Well, yeah, guys, those are my thoughts and opinions regarding the showrunners of Avatar The Last Airbender stepping away from the upcoming live-action version of Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix TV show. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. That way you don't miss more TV news or Avatar news from me moving forward. And you can go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which are linked in the about section on my YouTube channel. As always, this is my Vision here at Bryan Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.